That's
Hello?
my favourite. I mean, nothing says Let's Talk Trek better than some absolute lunacy. Good evening, James. How the devil are you?
I'm very well, Richard. How the devil are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you, buddy. I'm good. I've had a good. You're a bit quiet. I think it might be my speakers, so I'm just turning them up a bit. Yes, I've had a
I've
gratifying
fiddled with some
weekend.
knobs here.
Yes, splendid. I mean, it suited me perfectly. This splendid, absolutely splendid weekend. This weekend overall. I've discovered a new crisp, which I'll reveal later. Honestly, it's not what you think either. It's not the giant What's-It. I found something that's not a giant What's-It, which is a brilliant crisp. But
Better still than the giant What's-It.
I tell you what, it's not a meal like a giant What's-It, but goodness gracious me, the flavour. The flavour. But all will be revealed later on. So this week on Let's Talk Trek, we've got some Star Trek to talk about, and we're our new take on Choose Your Choose. So we'll get that out of the way now. Yes, that's for the feet. Let's run Choose Your Choose feature first.
Choose your choose.
Now, this is where we're hoping you, the dear viewer, can help us choose. We've got 2 episodes basically loaded into the ejector tube, torpedo tube, catapult, trebuchet. We've got them loaded in, and one's going to be fired out. You can only keep one. And I thought we did this a little bit last week. Which one's going to be fired out of the airlock? And now I think we're actually going to turn it into, and we'll keep score, a series off. So this week we've got TNG versus DS9. And the TNG episode that we're putting forward is Lower Decks, which segues nicely into this week's episode of Lower Decks, which was a lovely episode actually. I quite love it. We'll go into that. And Deep Space Nine putting forward a very heavy hitter, Pale Moonlight, which, if I've got the title right, is the one where Sisko's basically making a log to justify why he killed a load of people to bring the Romulans into the war. Is that correct, James?
That's largely it. Yes, it's told in hindsight through him dictating his personal log, and which he then deletes at the end.
Yeah. So later on the show, James and I will present our standpoints, a case for why one episode is better than the other, and we'll see who wins, DS9 or TNG. But you must vote, dear viewer, on the episode, not the series. That's the purpose of this. So there we are. So let's quick hello to everyone. Hello, Gary. How the devil are you, chap? What ho, Vicky? How are you? Christoph, how you doing, buddy?
Evening
okay.
all.
Yeah. Thank you for being well. We're a little bit earlier. We have been coming on at 9:10, but ever since we've been coming on at 9:10, everyone's been here at 9. So I thought we may as well come back to 9 o'clock. And also, immediately following this wonderful presentation, Let's Talk Trek, you're going to have the opportunity to see some Star Trek Online on my Twitch channel. Now, if you're not down with the children, Twitch is a it's a streaming platform that children use, well, not just children, that gamers use to kind of show themselves playing a computer game. So it's very, very popular. And I've talked about Star Trek Online on the show quite a few times. So what I thought I'd do is I would start a Twitch stream, which you can watch along if you like. And just as a trial version this week, I'm going to take you for a quick walk around Star Trek Online's representation of Deep Space Nine, because there's been some really good Easter eggs in the Deep Space Nine. So if you want to join my Twitch stream, I'm desperately trying to find it now. you can find me, I think,
Is it a link,
and
Richard, or do we have to look you up somehow?
you go to Twitch. It's twitch.tv/CMD Ashby. So I'll put that in the comments. It won't. The stream won't start until after this show is finished. I better spell Twitch right.
Good.
So that's what you'll be wanting to join me on. I'll pop it up again before the end of the show. So there we are. If you want to see some Star Trek Online, then and a quick walk around the Easter eggs of Deep Space Nine, then join me on Twitch after the show. Yeah.
Yes, there we have it.
So can we clarify, please? Do we vote to keep or to get rid of? You vote. You want to vote which one you're going to keep, not which one you're going to get rid of. But don't vote yet, because we've yet to present our cases yet. Been on Twitch for a while. What wrestlers playing and Phasma. I don't know what Phasmophobia is, but I feel I want to try it.
Is there a character in Star Wars called Phasma? Is it fear of Captain Phasma?
Hey Ruth, how you doing?
Nice chair, Ruth.
That's right. Yes, Twitch.tv. So that's me. So, yep, I'll be going live after the show. So, goodness me, this week's Lower Decks, hey James.
Yes.
So we start us off as always. I want to know what is it that you loved the most about this week's episode, and equally we'll ask you what you didn't like.
Oh, well, it was the throwback, of course, to the fact that Lower Decks is named for the TNG episode Lower Decks, and that there's a connection between Mariner and the character who, to my horror, I can't remember her name, who actually is killed off in the TNG episode.
Cheeto Jax, yeah. Am I right in saying that's the first time that link's been made?
I think so, yeah. There's been no suggestion that, because it's a bit sort of vague as to precisely where in the timeline Lower Decks is set. I think it's broadly around sort of Insurrection.
Well, we know the Titan with
Nemesis
Riker as captain is in service, so it's after
yes, it must be post Nemesis, mustn't it?
Yeah. I probably was very close to having something akin to an emotion when that, because Lower Decks, in my opinion, is the greatest episode of Star Trek that's ever been made. It's certainly the finest TNG episode. And
what? Hang on, you've forgotten Code of Honor there, Richard.
I know Code of Honor is a close second, but yeah. So to have that connection officially made was lovely. Also, and again, your superior Star Trek knowledge is going to have to help me out here. Oh, hang on a minute. We haven't done the spoiler alert. We're going to be talking about Lower Decks, and there'll be spoilers. So, this.
Please be aware that the following program contains scenes which may not be suitable for younger children. Some parental discretion is advised.
There we are. So
yes.
So the pilot that was from Red Squad, that's been revealed as this season's baddie.
Yes,
that was missed. Wasn't he originally played by Thomas Duncan Neal?
Robert Duncan McNeil. Yes, he was. And the backstory to that is that the character of Nick Lucano, who appears in, I think it's The First Duty is the name of the episode, where he and Wesley are part of a cover-up for having killed another cadet carrying out. Hang on, I'm just going to fish around in my museum of ships.
Don't call it the Museum of Shit. Oh no, it's okay. We've done the disclaimer.
I've got a little model of the Academy trainer somewhere, but anyway, we'll have to use this one instead because I can't find it. But yeah, they do and they do a Kelvin starburst, and they exhaust. They ignite the exhaust from their ships, and something goes wrong. But yeah. So anyway, the point is, Lucano is the one who takes the fall ultimately because he was in charge. He was the one that made them do it. and he's cashiered out of Starfleet Academy. And he is played, as you rightly say, by Robert Duncan McNeill. The character then of Thomas Paris has exactly the same backstory and is also played by Robert Duncan McNeill, which has caused people for 25 years to go, well, aren't they the same character? And it turns out it was a rights issue that they just couldn't use the character of Locarno, but they liked the character of Locarno. So what they basically did was just took Locarno and renamed him. Anyway, yes, he is,
Of
to all
course,
intents and purposes, Tom Paris, but who goes bad because he doesn't get picked up by Voyager.
yes. So and of course, Sito Jaxa was also in Red Squad. You know, that's her backstory to her character in Lower Decks. She'd obviously appeared before in so
That's right, yeah.
yeah. So they're coming full circle. Sito Jax is obviously related to this character as well. I'm excited because she's always listed as missing, presumed dead, and I wonder if we're going to have a redemption, a comeback that's 25 years in the making.
It's longer than that. TNG finished in 94, so we're already 29 years past TNG. And I think Lower Decks season 5.
I think season 5, yeah.
So that's like 1992. So yeah, we're sort of 32 years post that episode. So if they bring back that character and say, "Oh, she escaped from prison," or she's there and they rescue her now, yeah, she's spent 3 decades there.
I honestly, if that happens, I don't care how cheesy it is. I'll be so happy. That'd just be amazing.
Yes.
That story has taken 33 years to conclude. Is just absolutely fantastic. I think that would be absolutely awesome. I'd be so pleased. And I'm looking forward to hearing you explain why your Deep Space Nine episode is better than
All right.
But we're not. I don't think
we're
quite done with.
I'll run an argument.
So what did you enjoy apart from that? I mean, anything else about this week's episode you'd like to comment on?
I enjoyed the way Captain Freeman walks into that bar to buy information from the information vendor, and the information vendor is, of course, the puppet Balok, except it's not a puppet.
Absolutely killed me. Absolutely killed me. Absolutely killed. I thought it was brilliant. I was so funny.
That's one of my favourite aliens of all time, is the Balok head, because it just looked. I mean, it's 60s futuristic.
Oh, it was just fantastic, and he was sat in a little chair and everything.
But yes, the way Freeman basically cons them and goes,
Yeah.
"Oh, yeah, I did exactly what you expected I'd do. I've outwitted you," and she gets the information.
Yeah, I thought it was really good for her character. That actually, it's the first time, if I'm honest with you, it's the first time she's convinced me as a captain. I think, like in 4 seasons, whatever we've had of Lower Decks, it's the first time she's actually been the captain, like a cool, clever captain. So I really enjoyed that. Well, it was good.
Well, you have to remember that Lower Decks is not about the senior staff. They're the window dressing that's there just to give us the background for the Lower Decks characters.
You see, I'd argue a little bit against the principle of Lower Decks, because I think when you go to the episode Lower Decks from TNG, or even Voyager's one, The Good Shepherd, I think when you get down to it, I think the Lower Decks are presented in such a way that you actually have more appreciation for how hard the senior staff's jobs are. I think that the most poignant bit in Star Trek I've ever seen was the end of Lower Decks, when Picard addresses the crew and says that Sito Jax has died, and it just pans out from him looking out into the stars, and you realize, God, how hard this guy's job is. So I thought it was fantastic to see a captain that we've not really seen be much of a captain yet, for the Lower Decks, to get her chance to shine, and she was very good. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yes, it was a good episode. So you're more sold on Lower Decks this week then, because you've not always been tremendously complimentary about it.
No, I mean, yeah, the poor writing's sporadic on it. The rushed dialogue is always irritating. The let's keep it cool for the kids and have some swearing in it, but swearing out, which is just really childish. But then I guess, I get that's kind of the point of it. So I appreciate it that probably many people enjoy it for the reasons I don't like it, and I do appreciate that. Not everyone can be right. So
Well, we can.
well, yes, we're always right. Well,
Of course,
there was an occasion I was wrong.
even when we're wrong, especially when we're wrong.
Yeah, I think it was back in 2003. I got my secretary actually to write it down in the book of mistakes to make sure to make sure it was noted that even I could be wrong.
It's true. I made a mistake with an apostrophe once, Richard, and as you know, that's my bête noire. And I left it online as a testament for all time to the fact that I was not infallible, and I did make a mistake, and I've never lived it down.
No, nor should you, because a mistake
Quite right.
is, as I tell my son regularly, a mistake is only a mistake if one fails to learn from it. And I've learned not to make mistakes. So yeah, here we go. So that would be awesome.
What-
Yes,
what would
I
be
think
awesome?
Rashid's referring to the Lower Decks story coming full circle, which I'm
Yes.
tentatively hoping that's what I'm. If Sito Jack survived and she's been in prison in Cardassia, but then got free, and maybe who knows? But
She'd be in the same prison camp as Thomas Riker.
is he? Oh yeah, he's in a Cardassian prison camp, isn't he?
Perhaps they both broke out. Maybe they've had lots of
And
little
he
love
was-
babies.
Well, no, he was mentioned in this week's episode of Lower Decks as well, wasn't he?
He was.
Oh, I think you could be onto something there. Do you think Thomas Riker and Sito Jax making a daring escape from a Cardassian prison?
Yeah,
Who knows?
they could dig a tunnel 150 feet long, 6 meters underground. They could have a little trolley that they could pull themselves along, and then they could get rumbled because when they get on the bus and the interrogating officer says, "Good luck," they go, "Oh, thank you." That, dear viewer, if you're not familiar with it, is the plot of The Great Escape.
Does he say, "Oh, thank you," and say, "Oh, cheers, chap"?
No, the German officer says to Gordon Jackson in English, "Good luck."
No,
And
he
he goes,
doesn't know.
"Thank
He
you."
says, "Good luck."
Aha!
Boy, let's hope the Jerrys don't catch us. Something akin to that. My favourite scenes on the train when the Germans are gone. Oh, I speak your language so well. I speak your and the Brits just say, well, just as we do.
Christoph
So
has helped us out here. Good luck.
Good luck. Yes, it's very akin to that. So, yeah, I think there's lots to take away from this week's Lower Decks. There's certainly lots to keep us guessing as to what's going. I don't know how many episodes we've got on Lower Decks left now. Is it?
I think there's about 10 on average per season. I think this was episode 8, so we may have 2 left.
It feels like we're getting to the end of it, doesn't it?
Yeah, so we've obviously got this big baddie who's out there blowing everybody up, and it turns out it's Nick Picardo.
It's Nick Picardo, yeah.
And the next question is, well, for why? For why Nick Picardo?
It's going to be to rescue Sito Jaxa.
Well, how does blowing up the Binars help him with that?
Well, we'll find out, won't we? I mean, that's what's exciting, isn't it? But
Yes.
I definitely think there's something to that. There's because Thomas Riker, he's in a Cardassian prison. He flashed up on the screen as well.
Yes, he was
Sito Jax
mentioned
has been
along with
mentioned.
Beverly Crusher. Oh, this made my daughter laugh. Teach me to tap dance, Beverly Crusher. Boimler in his dreams.
I'm more
Brilliant.
interested in taking her and Deanna through their yoga routine. I'd be really good at that because I'm really good at knowing if things are symmetrical, or level,
Yeah. Meanwhile, back in reality.
Meanwhile, back in reality. So, dear viewer, are you ready to play a game? If you haven't done already, please hit the like, love emoji on your screen in front of you there. And we'll get ready to play Choose Your Choose.
Right.
So this week, all you have to do in the comments is listen to James and I advocate our episodes and then vote for the one that you want to keep. So James will kick us off by going for the very powerful noir episode of Deep Space Nine, In the Pale Moonlight.
So in the Pale Moonlight, about halfway through DS9, shows us the lengths to which Sisko is forced to compromise his ideals in order to achieve the greater good. And it's about him sacrificing his own personal morality and all the principles for which he stands on the altar of the greater good. Because he is effectively compelled to enter into a conspiracy using Garak to create fraudulent evidence, which is presented to the Romulans in order to draw them into the war. It's a bit like Operation Mincemeat, which was a British operation during World War II, where a body was seeded effectively with fake intelligence to be found by the Axis powers, so that they would be fed the wrong intelligence and they would act upon that. In this case, it goes a lot further, because Garak, essentially creating the dubious data rod with all the information on, which has a video of a meeting with the Horta and so forth. Not the Horta, the Vorta. The Horta are totally different.
Careful. It's difficult, yeah. One's sort of a blob, the other one's got ears.
Yeah, one's a rock and one's played by Jeffrey Combs. Actually, we don't know that the Horta wasn't played by Jeffrey Combs, but I digress. Yes, Garak, of course, who arranges for the Romulan senator, and we all know his name is Senator Vreenak, because he's the one who goes, "It's a fake."
Would you like to aid your cause? Would you like me to play the "It's a Fake" sting?
If you have yep, that's how it. Yep.
I'm trying to find it. I think it was from some time ago. Here we go. It's a fake.
Everybody remembers it's a fake. Anyway, so yes, the odd thing is he doesn't transmit any report back to Romulus from DS9 going, "Oh, they've just tried to con us with this dodgy intelligence," and his ship explodes shortly after leaving DS9, so that the Romulans will find that the ship's been blown up, sabotaged, and the evidence relating to the plot, which will be sufficiently damaged, it will hide any indication that it was never genuine in the first place, unless, of course, Garak had deliberately seeded it with sufficient flaws that they could tell it was fake, so that he could blow up the senator. Anyway, Sisko is effectively dragged along in that plot. He's not conscious that Garak's going to blow the shuttle up. He doesn't know that until after the event. But I can live with it.
Well, I think possibly he did know what he was letting. That's why he got Garak involved. I think subconsciously, I think he did know. But
do you think he allowed Garak to do it, knowing full well that he couldn't possibly ask Garak to do it?
But there can be absolutely no doubt that it's a masterpiece of Star Trek writing.
It's a brilliant piece of writing, and it shows that Sisko will go places that Picard probably wouldn't.
But did it not also expose the limitations of Avery Brooks's acting?
I'm not going to comment on that because
You'll either confirm or deny
this episode. And I think it's a brilliant piece of television, and it goes deep. You have Bashir moaning that he's being asked to hand over pints or liters of biomimetic gel.
Yeah. I mean, it's Alexander Siddig and Andrew Robinson. I think they were both brilliant in that episode. I think they were fantastic.
Garak as a character is a standalone absolute smash, isn't he? Every episode he's in, he's brilliant.
And it's weird because no disrespect to Andrew Robinson, but he sometimes seems very on point with him or completely off. He's camped it up so much that he's not believable. And then the next scene, he's like he does the stare, and it's perfect for it. So it's got a very hit and miss with his. But we digress. I mean, so the Pale Moon Knight, I have to agree, it's one of the best written episodes of Star Trek. I think it's absolutely fantastic. The acting in the episode,
one of the key points is it's a linchpin in the whole massive arc of the Dominion War storyline that DS9 did. And remember, prior to DS9 and big arc stories of that, the only thing remotely close was Babylon 5, which was a totally huge long arc. For Star Trek, DS9 was the only series that really had the huge long arc. You kind of thought Voyager would go that way with things like the Marquis and the issues with the ship gradually getting more and more beaten up, but they didn't really. The tensions with the Marquis just faded away after season 1, never really mentioned again. And the ship always looked pristine, apart from in Year of Hell. There was never any dents or damage to it. Bits they couldn't replace, which I thought was a lost opportunity with Voyager. But anyway, I digress again.
There can be no doubt that it's a very good episode of Deep Space Nine. I don't think it's the best. We'll save what is obviously the best episode of DS9 for another day. But this was a very good one, and certainly I think. At the time it was released, probably the darkest, I think, episode of Star Trek I think we'd seen. But,
okay, Christoph. Oh, I thought he was talking to us.
That's your case for the Pale.
That's the case for the prosecution.
So Lower Decks, the TNG episode Lower Decks. I've for a long time it's been my favorite episode because it's revealed a lot about the ship and the crew. The acting in it's superb. You get to meet a civilian, and you get to see the ship from a civilian's point of view working on a starship. It's kind of like a cruise ship, a kind of croupier or something. You get to understand a little bit more about the people who work on board as hairdressers, and
Mr. Mott.
Yeah, Mr. Mott, and you get to appreciate that what the senior staff do isn't just beaming down to planets and blowing shit up. They have to do staff reviews. They have to encourage, and you always understand that sort of thing must go on. It doesn't run itself. But how can you possibly put that across in an episode that isn't utterly boring? And that's why it's a masterstroke of writing, because they make it engaging from start to finish. The characters are likable and lovable all the way through. The perspectives are fantastic. The acting is first rate. And I think it's just the episode that really demonstrates overall, more than anything else, just how fucking hard Picard's job is being captain of this starship. And there's episodes that followed it since, like The Good Shepherd in Voyager, which isn't a bad episode, where they've coined on to, that there are the lower decks. It's not just the senior staff. Everything goes into making the ship work. But I can't think of, it's not a completely standalone episode in science fiction, but I can't think of many that are like it. And to make a boring subject interesting, to prop up the series and just flesh out the characters and the role of the ship and everything, and to make it so touching, I thought it was an absolutely wonderful episode. So there we have.
It gives us a different perspective, doesn't it, Richard, on the people we normally see day in, day out, and how they're these ethereal presences to the lower deckers. Because remember, the Enterprise D had a crew of 1,012. So it's conceivable that you might not ever speak to Captain Picard if you're in a crew that large.
Yeah,
Riker or whatever.
Yeah, or if you do, you might get called Ensign Broccoli.
Thank you, Mr. Broccoli. Barclay.
Oh,
Oh,
do you
the
remember that
look on
episode?
Patrick Stewart's face when he yeah, oh, brilliant.
He does do comedy very well. He does it very. His timing is perfect.
Okay.
Years ago, I got to see. I was very fortunate. I went to go and see Waiting for Godot with Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen. And I'm not a massive fan of the play, but my goodness, to see two masters at work, that was fantastic. but there we are. So, in the comments now, if you would like to keep Lower Decks, please write the word Lower Decks. If you would like to keep In the Pale Moonlight, please write
Just
the
write
text.
Moonlight. Don't write In the Pale Moonlight. It'll take forever.
Or just write Moonlight, yes. Moonlight or Lower Decks. So yeah, there we are. Please pop it in the text now, and we'll see how we go. So that's 1 for Lower Decks.
Oh.
So that's 1 for Lower Decks.
1 vote so far.
Just while the voting's going on, I'm just going to
thank you, Mark, for ordering your badge. By the way, it's packed. It's ready to go. It'll be on its way to you tomorrow. Oh, I'm on my own. So let's carry on with the vote. So we've got Christoph for Pale Moonlight, Alan for Lower Decks, Ruth for Lower Decks. So that's 3-1 as it stands at the moment. You're obviously not persuaded by my argument. Okay, all right. Well, what can I say? I'll plug the Rikers Beard badges again while we're waiting for Richard to come back. These are our new beautiful badges with the super magnetic backing, which are going to, are already winging their way into the wild blue yonder to fund a major project that we're on at the moment. Which hopefully we'll have some news on that before the end of the year. For you, message me if you want to know. Oh, hang on, what have we got here? Vicky, you've gone with Lower Decks because it's the only one you've seen. Well, I think really you should vote the other way then, on the basis that you don't know what you've been missing. Carl's. Sorry, Gary, don't know what you're talking about. You could say sorry. Who could say sorry? Why? I don't know. 5 out of 5 review for the badges. It's true, they are amazing. Look at that. Whoa. What have we got? Deep Space Nine and the Pale Moonlight. It's all great. So that's 2-4, I think, at the moment. So you're basically about double my votes at the moment, Richard.
Well, I remain again undefeated.
Oh, Ruth. Well, message me and I'll arrange for one of these to come to you. You'll be interested to know, by the way, that it may involve the construction of another chair. Oh, right. Oh, right. We're catching up. Right. So I think that's 3 for Pale Moonlight.
3 for Pale Moonlight.
Oh.
And 4 for Lower Decks.
Yeah, it's getting closer. No, Alan, I haven't lost the argument. I'm dealing with a jury, and juries frequently get things wrong. Okay. I should add that when I've directed juries, only once have I gone, yeah, I'm not quite sure how you got to that, but
I've often said to you, James, if you're ever struggling with a jury, you've only to let me know.
Yeah. Oh, hang on. Now Rashid's balanced us out. I think we're 4 for 4 now.
No, he hasn't said. He said that's in his top 3 favorite episodes. He has not said if he's having that over Lower Decks.
All right, Rashid, clarify for us. Are you voting for Moonlight, or are you saying the other way around? Right, what's this? How dare you suggest our votes are rigged, Christoph?
That's crazy. That's crazy talk. We've never rigged anything.
Oh, right. Okay. We've got Vicky. Yes. Vicky's quite right. It wasn't me that rigged the. Yeah. Right. Okay. Rashid has clarified. He's voting for Pelman. Right. So we're at a draw at the moment.
So that's 4 all.
So for the 175 people currently watching, if one more of you would pop in,
one person just to sway it. Otherwise, we'll have to settle this via what are we going to do? Have a fight?
Pistols.
So do what?
Pistols at dawn.
Pistol. Well, you can choose first. You'll choose. Do you want to choose
I'll choose
pistol?
pistols.
You're choosing pistols. Well, that just leaves me with sword or fist. So that doesn't seem fair.
No,
It's gone.
I didn't rig anything.
Oh!
Oh, hang on. Haven't you already voted out? I'm losing track
No, he
now.
hasn't. I've won again.
No, he's already voted. We've counted him.
No,
I've
we haven't.
checked. We have. He's up here. Look. That's at 9:32. And here he is down here at 9:36. He's voted twice. You can't do that, Alan.
I don't think we can. We can't have a draw. So.
Well, we'll just wait and see if anyone else votes later on.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I have actually been thinking about an exciting take on the board game Trivial Pursuits. I've because I play it with my family every sort of Saturday, and I thought we could sort of use the Star Trek quiz book as a Trivial Disputes question generator, depending on what cheese you landed on. So maybe we live televised Star Trek Trivial Disputes. Can it get any more exciting?
Well, we do have, to formulate some new games for our next project, don't we?
We do. I'm not sure this will be one of them, but yeah. So we'll call it a tie for now.
Yeah.
And we'll move on to the next important piece of news.
Oh.
Drinking's a serious business. It's not a game, Ruth. And if it goes on past 10 o'clock, I tend to lose it.
I drink to forget.
I remember that.
Can't remember why, though.
So, important news. As our regular viewer will know, we're massive fans of the giant prawn cocktail flavoured What's It, which I think we decided was the greatest crisp ever invented until I discovered these. These are chip chop curry sauce flavoured
Chip
McCoy.
chop curry sauce.
Chip chop curry sauce. Yeah.
McCoys.
Honestly.
Wow.
Oh. My word. They are incredible. They're absolutely incredible. I urge you now, rush out. It's not a meal like a giant What's It, but the flavour sensation is absolutely incredible. Well, while James is gone,
The shop's closed.
The shop's closed. Did you just try and go to the shop and buy? So,
well,
we've had an unsatisfying conclusion to our future.
I don't know. I think it just proves that our arguments were so beautifully balanced that the jury can't decide.
Well, they're both amazingly good episodes. There's a very good chance I might watch Lower Decks tonight, actually, if I'm still awake by the end of my Twitch session. Because it's just one of those episodes you can just watch again and again and again, if just for the fashion tips that you get from the civilians that are on board the Enterprise. So you know what you should be wearing in 100 years.
Oh, yeah. If you're a waiter in 10 Forward, you get some really naff outfit to wear, don't you?
Well, they look naff now, but in the future they might look incredible.
Guinan doesn't. She gets to wear that enormous hat.
Yeah, she gets to wear an enormous hat.
Presumably, it's not a religious thing because we don't see her wearing it in either Picard or in the TNG episode back in 19th century San Francisco.
Was it our friend Paul Simons who cosplayed
Samuel Clemens.
Yes, Samuel Clemens, didn't he? Didn't he,
He
do
did
such
with
good
his
job there?
Ophidian staff.
That was amazing. That was really good. I say to you, sir. I say to you, sir. I'm not sure he did the voice quite as well.
Read my books, I'm rumbling now. Rah. Samuel Clemens, of course, was Mark Twain, wasn't he?
That's right. Yeah.
The author of Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn.
He's noted as being one of the first ever sort of vocal atheists in literature. A very brave man. I think they might have hung him for it, but either way, very brave man.
Obviously wrong, but there you go.
So, yeah. Oh.
Yeah. What's this?
Those crisps are so nice, James. I can't wait for you to have a go.
Oh, I've got some of the giant prawn cocktail Wotsits downstairs, unless the present Mrs. Dillon has stolen them.
I've had the also in the giant Wotsit variety. They have the giant flaming Wotsits.
From Clapper with my PKE meter.
Oh, that's a nice one. Does it erect?
It's not working at the moment. Don't worry, I've got two.
Have you run out of battery to make your thing go?
I think the previous battery has leaked, so I've tried replacing them and clearing it up with a bit of vinegar. Yes, I'll have to take that apart and have a look.
Vinegar.
Vinegar clears away the leaked battery acid.
Oh.
Just a little bit. You put it on the end of a paper towel and dab away the corrosion.
Good luck with that. Neelix is cooking. One has to switch to liquid nutrition. No ghosts around to make it work.
I'm looking forward to Tuesday. I've got the kids' proton packs all prepared and their little uniforms, and I've got my proton pack. We're going to go out trick-or-treating. We're going to have so much fun.
Would you like me to wear my ghost costume, James?
Yes, but be careful which one you choose.
Careful now. Careful now.
We'll go to Westwood Cross and I'll just run around chasing you, blowing stuff up. It'd be brilliant.
Yeah. My ghost costume doesn't always go down well.
Yes.
I'm a spooky ghost. So things we always like to talk on the show about things we're looking forward to. We're a long way away from Destination Star Trek Blackpool, but if you're watching the show and you're intending to go, please do make some noise on social media how much you would like the Rikers Beard to attend. A few people have been doing that, which I have to say has generally warmed my heart, James. I don't know about you, but it's
well, it's lovely, but I'm not going. It's as simple as that.
No, but
it's so far in the north. I can't imagine it.
But several people that we haven't paid have actually said we're very we're interested in going, but will Rikers Beard be attending?
Yeah,
which was really nice.
We'd love to attend, but not that far north. So if they move it to somewhere sensible, like I don't know, Canterbury, then we're there with bells on. I've
started to think I might go, James.
Really? Well, I mean, have fun, Richard.
Yeah, I think I might do. I'll go. There's a whole host of reasons why I might be doing it, which I won't go into in the show right now. But yeah, I've never been on a train that far. I know, but for me, that's really exciting.
Yes, well, look, even if I were persuaded to go, I would be going without carrying any heavy stuff with me. I'm not doing it. It's as simple as.
No, I'll bring. What can I bring? I won't bring this. I'll bring my martial arts stuff, so I can do my martial arts demonstration of Star Trek again, and I'll bring my guitar so we can do the Rikers Beard musical interlude. I will not be bringing the Enterprise D bridge.
Or a shuttlecraft, or a transporter, or anything else that we might have in the works that will appear at other conventions during the year that are in, the southern part of the United Kingdom.
Not the desolate wasteland of the north. I mean, basically, I saw a film called Mad Max Fury Road, and they filmed that in Blackpool.
Ah, it's around this time of year that Strictly Come Dancing goes to Blackpool, isn't it?
So I've not watched Strictly. I have watched the one where they make celebrities eat cow shit.
No, that's this one. Yeah.
I enjoy that one very much. I can't get enough of it, and it's become very clear to me that you and I are very similar to Ant and Dec, except we're a little bit better looking.
Well, when we appeared at Destination, you were always on my left-hand side, and I was always on your right-hand side. You know, that's how people assume we were Ant and Dec.
I hadn't thought about it that much, but yes, James can dance. This is a lovely fact, because I have many remarkable talents, but sadly I can't dance. But James can dance.
Really?
I've seen him do it. Yeah.
Have you?
Mm.
Where was that bar we went to where we did a bit of dancing? Oh, yes, I know.
What was the bar called in Amsterdam in Ted Lasso?
Prick.
It was called Prick, was it? Was that what it? That was. I thought it was called Le Coq. That's called Prick. Fantastic. Oh, this Ted Lasso.
Just like Rashida Phil Collins. That's a reference to a Genesis song called I Can't Dance.
Blue jeans walking down the street. Her dog's talking to me, but she's out of reach.
Yes.
So, just a quick reminder. We're going to go offline in about sort of 5 or 10 minutes. And you can watch me on Twitch, take you for a guided tour around Star Trek Online's interpretation of Deep Space Nine. It's worth a watch. I mean, if people are into it and want a sort of more thorough guide to Star Trek Online, I'll happily do it. But I really want to show you guys just how wonderful they've done Deep Space Nine. So please tune in to Twitch TV CMD Ashby to witness this. But yes, things we're looking forward to. The final season of Discovery is coming up, and I know that we're not always kind about Discovery on this show. And joking aside, yes, we're looking forward because it's the final season, but it's a new season of Star Trek, and there's absolutely no reason why this might not be brilliant. Just because they've fallen short the last 2 seasons, really. The first one was pretty good. The second one was pretty good. It's only the third and fourth they've fallen short. So this season might be a really wonderful season.
What you're saying, of 4 seasons they've produced, 2 of them have been suboptimal.
Well, it was pretty good, the first one. I thought the first one was pretty good. And I thought the second one was pretty good.
Yeah, get that, but you said the third and fourth are suboptimal, so that's half.
Yeah, but I would take like half of Star Trek to no Star Trek, and you have to remember that Star Trek.
So we have Discovery that will happen,
and you have to remember as well that Star Trek sets the bar so high. Well, okay, until Discovery, but it set the bar so high, it's very difficult to live up to. What about reviewing the Doctor Who on the 26th of November? We'd love to, but that's not Star Trek, and we don't want Nadim to get upset.
He's not.
Do you mean like a Doctor Who? Oh, do you mean like a Doctor Who special?
We could do that because David Tennant's coming back, and David Tennant back as the Doctor is going to be brilliant.
We could do a Doctor Who special. We could go off piste.
I mean, also the some of the more recent series of Doctor Who have also been suboptimal.
We could do it from your TARDIS, James.
Yes, we can go out to the garden and do that, and Dr. Isabel can come out and go, "Stop being naughty."
Yeah. It's your daughter, Northern.
Right. Well, as a separate show about which we'll touch upon before we log off for this evening, we'll do that.
Okay, I'm up for doing a one-off. If you want to come over here and watch the episode, or do you watch it with the children?
Probably won't watch it with the children because they'll just shout through it. They're not going to look. They're 5 and 2.
Well, we could do it. There's I've not seen it. I've seen clips of it and I've heard of it, called a Google Box, where you watch people.
Goggle box.
Goggle Box, and you watch
Ooh.
people watching a television program. It's very popular. We met some people from it at Folkestone. Do you remember? We didn't know who they were. It would be embarrassing. We had no idea who they were.
It's always embarrassing for reality TV people, isn't it?
It
When
is,
they
isn't
turn
it?
up places and they're very upset when people don't know who they are.
Not a clue.
I don't know
But
who
then
you are.
that's
What
happened to
for?
me. Who was it?
Don't care.
Who was it I met? I met Brian Harvey from East 17. Didn't know who he was. I met Dizzy Rascal at a wrestling event at the O2.
Oh, he's a rapper, I believe.
He's a rap star, yes. And I misunderstood because I think it's the way that kids speak. They kind of speak in mumbles these days. And I completely misheard him. I thought his name was Dozy Bastard. I made a complete. His bouncer was massive guy. And he was, oh dear, this is not going to end well. But yeah,
David Tennant. Really, what are you suggesting, Alan? Are you suggesting Tennant isn't a brilliant doctor? I mean, he's no Tom Baker. I'll give you that. But Tom Baker's not going to come back.
we met Tom Baker as well. I knew who he was.
He's the Doctor.
Yes, he's the voice of Little Britain.
Britain.
Britain. So yes, we could do someone's Gogglebot star came up to us at an event and started playing with our phasers, and I told the person to put them back down. And yeah, a phaser can be a bloody dangerous thing if you don't know how to operate it correctly. So bravo, superb. Yes, but
Here's
Gogglebox.
one. Be careful.
That's absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, isn't it?
It
I mean, even though this is the Wand Company one, I just think the design of the 60s phaser has never been improved upon for a ray gun, has it? Look, that's just gorgeous.
Just looks deadly and sexy at the same time, doesn't it?
It does.
A little bit like Scarlett Johansson. So,
or indeed us.
so yes, we can do a one-off Doctor Who special, like Google Box, and we'll. I don't know if I can be asked to film us. We can watch it and then come on and do the show afterwards and talk about
we
it.
can find an investor who will give us somewhere to build our bridge permanently, and we'll just sit on that with a huge screen and watch stuff on the bridge.
I'm not sure if I want people watching me make my crisp faces while I'm watching Doctor Who. And what if it's really bad? Like, what if we don't like it?
Hang on. Rose, no, it's 60 years old on the 23rd of November. 23rd of November 1963 was the first episode of Doctor Who, An Unearthly Child.
And I believe that all of the available episodes are soon coming to BBC iPlayer, aren't they?
Apart from, ironically, An Unearthly Child, because there's a rights issue by some chap whose father wrote it, and over all the fan groups, there's all sorts of vitriol about it, which I choose not to bother reading. Yes, Tom is the best Doctor, Alan. There's no doubting that. You know, Tom Baker is the definitive article, but Tennant is a close second.
Let me hear your best "Would you like a jelly baby" Tom Baker impression, and try not to sound like a paedophile.
Would you like a jelly baby?
Oh, we fail. Let me try it.
Would you like
Would
to
you like
see
a jelly
inside my
baby?
van?
Jelly baby? Not possible, is it?
Come along now, Brigadier.
Who was the first? We're going slightly off piece here, but who's the first Doctor that you remember?
Well, Baker was in production when I was old enough to see it, and he changed to Peter Davison in 1981, of course. Pertwee's one of my favourite Doctors, actually, and he finished being the Doctor in 1971. I think is right.
Well, he's my earliest memory of one, because I had a lodger in North. Not me, I was a child, but my family had a lodger who had a Betamax player, and he had a Betamax with some Doctor Who, with Pertwee as Doctor Who, and it was like one of the very, we had one TV and very few channels, so Pertwee was one of the. I wasn't allowed to stay up late enough to watch Doctor Who, so Pertwee was the first
Here we
Doctor Who
have,
that I saw
the,
on a Betamax player.
Sonic pen, look.
Very nice. Right. Well, we're going to call it a night there, because I've got to get my Twitch stream ready. So I'll be coming on to Twitch in about 5 minutes. It's the first time I've ever twitched. So if there are any problems, audio issues, bits and pieces like that, please don't be shy to say in the comments of my Twitch stream. So I'm aware of any problems, but yes, it's just going to be a quick show around Deep Space Nine and the Easter eggs that you can find there. So tonight we've discovered that we're enjoying Lower Decks. We're looking forward to Discovery, and we're on the fence between Pale Moonlight and Lower Decks TNG. I think we're going to have to call it a draw because no one's weighed in. So
yeah, it's a draw. Well, that's brilliant news.
It's a good result for you, isn't it, James?
It's a good result for you, I think, Richard.
Well, I'm more accustomed to winning than you, but yeah. But until I see you on my Twitch, which is on, hang on a minute, on my Twitch, please go to the Twitch if you'd like to see some. And genuinely, if you're not into gaming, it really is the Deep Space Nine that they've done is fantastic. It's worth a look at. So, yeah. Until then,
find that.
Look after yourself.
We're not going to discuss. That's 3 votes for Alan. I think he's invalidated the entire thing. Are we not going to discuss the future of Let's Talk Trek?
Not right now.
We're not. Okay. All right.
It's almost 10 o'clock. So
very well. So we'll have a look at you on your Twitch stream.
Until next time, look after yourselves and each other.
And don't have nightmares.